Hello and welcome again. So today we have on the bench a watch from a friend of mine. It's an Omega Seamaster. I'll show it to you before we dive into it. It's a really nice Omega Seamaster. As you can see, I have another video where I showcase this watch, but it's a very pretty Omega Seamaster Automatic. I'm gonna guess this is from the 1970's. And it's not working, so we're gonna try to figure out why. So today's aim is just to open it, have a look at it, and see why it's not working, or try to figure out if there's anything obviously wrong with it. So let's go for it. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to remove the bracelet of the watch. Okay, so let's dive into it. So I'm gonna use some of these classic watchmaking tools. Let's see if I get it to work, but basically fairly simple, I think. That's the one. This is a nice thing about these watches, you know, high quality watches are fairly simple to work with. So again, we're keeping the bracelet on the side. Let's put in our little storage box for the parts. So we have our classic box here. Just gonna that is that. So let's put it on the side. Maybe we're here. Back at it. So now we're gonna open the case, the back of the case. We're gonna use our handy ball for that. Obviously there are other tools that you could potentially use, but this one works fairly well, fairly simply. So we've opened that, and we're just gonna use our tweezers to remove the case. Oh, there you go. So maybe let's have a look at that. So it's yeah, just your original Omega case back. Have a bit of an inscription here, 27069, so 21069. My eyesight's not good enough. I'm gonna get a magnifying glass to try to figure out what it says. So here, using my friendly magnifying glass, I'm gonna have a look. So it's 201065. 201065. I'm gonna inspect that later on the internet and see what is that about, what's this model like, and yeah, have a go at it. But there you go. Have the movement here. There's no beating. Maybe we can take this out. That is not feeling fantastically well. There's something wrong here. There's a bit of a movement in the movement that should not happen. It is a beautiful movement though. So we do want to have a go there. You can see the jewels. I'm gonna use again my magnifying glass to try to figure out what is going on here. So let's have a look. It's a lovely Omega movement. There's a screw over here and over here, which I believe I need to remove in order to be able to take the movement out of the case, and I probably need to remove these as well. So let's try to do both of those things, right? So I do expect this button over here to be the one that lets me remove the stem, and it is exactly that button. So you have crown and stem over here, very nicely done. I'm gonna store that in my friendly watch box, and then I'm going to try to take this out of the case. That ain't working. Maybe I need to remove those two screws, so I'm going to try that and see how it goes. Again, this is all a bit exploratory, not massive aims here, very small screws. I think this is the smallest movement I've worked on so far, so we'll see what happens. Obviously excited, a bit nervous, a bit excited, a combination of both maybe. These are tiny screws, tinier than anything I've dealt with before. You really have to be careful here, easy to break stuff. I'm gonna try a slightly larger. Here. Here's where we're going to grab this out. Oh, we got a grip there, so we're just using the wrong one. Beautiful. So we've got something. Right, so again, everything going in the watch storage box so we don't lose anything. Still not coming out. I'm gonna try a couple more things here. But this screw is proving to be super difficult to... Oh, there it goes. We got a grip, we need to make the most out of it. Sometimes you get the tiniest grip there. There you go. Beautiful. Definitely getting better at removing screws, which seems to be one of the key. These are tiny screws, to be honest with you guys. I would not be surprised if these were the wrong screws or something like that. There is a bit of a... and it came out. Beautiful, beautiful. Lovely stuff. So we have ourselves a movement. As you can see, we also got these two tiny bits. Maybe I'll move them closer to the camera so you can have a look at them. Put them over here so you can have a look at them, but these are the two little bits that hold the movement together with the case, right? So yeah, again, storing everything together over here, right? So I guess the first bit was getting the movement out. We've got that going. Now we need to remove the hands. This is quite a small movement, so I'm going to use my smaller movement holder. So thankfully we have these tiny movement holders that are quite handy for this kind of problem. So again, let's see. Yeah, that works. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the hands. So let me get the tools for that. 2 seconds, please. That's nice. It's a very nice Omega dial. So what we now need is something to remove the hands of this watch. This is something I've never done before. So a bit nervous, but I know the theory, in theory. So let's see if I can get this done. Maybe what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna bring the stem back, and with that I'm gonna try to align the different parts of the movement together. Now, where was this supposed to go? That's a good question. I don't know exactly, but I can figure it out. I'm sure I can figure it out. Oh no, this is fine. This should be fine. I'm gonna use my movement holder to hold this for a second. Yeah, that works. Right, and what I am going to do here is I'm gonna press on that little button I pressed to take it out. I'm gonna try to bring it in again. Okay, seems to be working. I'm just missing the click. That seems to be working. Definitely need to press on that button, I think, in order to get this going. I'm going to use my tweezers here, which is what I used initially. Oh, there you go. I think that's better. Yeah. There you go. Now we have it on, and we can move the hands quite well. So what we're going to do is we're going to line all 3 hands together, roughly speaking, and then we're going to remove this these hands together, all together. Okay, so let's go for that. Again, a bit nervous, let's put it that way. I've never done this before, so this is a bit of a learning experience for me. There you go, we have that. I think that should be hopefully safe enough. And now I'm going to use my tool, my hand removal tool, and try to get that done. So please bear with me, be patient. It'll take a second to get that done. So watchmaking, as I'm learning, has a lot to do with the tools you use. So hopefully I can do this without destroying the watch. And that was easy. It was fairly simple. Beautiful hands out. The tool worked absolutely fine, absolutely nicely. So let's get rid of that. Let's put them on the box, and we can keep working. So again, beautiful hands. I'm gonna put them on my watch storage box. So probably a bit old hands, but that's absolutely fine. These are tiny parts, so have to be careful. And now I'm gonna see if I can find a way to remove face of the watch, the dial itself, right? So let me have a look. I will again first remove this stem just in case. I'm not sure that needs to be done, the stem and the crown, but I will remove them just in case. I don't want to force anything into place. That is that. No, that is not coming out. So I'm gonna remove some of these screws and see if I can get it out. Okay, so I'm gonna remove a couple more screws here. Seem to be holding this down to something. That's one that I've already removed. Let's remove the second one. See where we get to. The bottom one here. Super difficult, super tiny, but I'm gonna use my loop here to try to see what I'm doing. Oh, there you go. We just needed a bit of pressure, I believe, and now what we do need to do now is we need to try to remove. Oh, I saw the screws that we were missing. So there are these side screws. I've seen this before. It's just being silly. So first of all, let me bring that screw back to place. I just don't want to remove anything that don't need to be removed, right? So let me put it back into place. Got this bad boy back in, and now we can remove these screws that are holding this tight, right? So you can see that over there. Those are screws that are holding this tight. Hopefully you can see that to some extent. That's brilliant. That is coming out. That's one over there, and then there's probably another one over here. So it's part of the dial. I'm going to put them together with the dial. There you go. Yeah, and that now should come out easily and fairly quickly. There you go. Beautiful. Beautiful. Two tiny screws that will hopefully allow me to remove the dial now. So I'm gonna put the screws back into place. Trustworthy watch box here. Put this in here. And now I should hopefully be able to remove this fairly simply. There you go. That's pretty. Right? So you have that. And now we can actually try to work on this movement properly. Right? So let me put this back onto the bench. Again, yeah, I think this is the best side for this. Is a tiny piece of watch, so please be patient, guys or girls or anyone. Just gonna hold it from here. Actually, I'm gonna go even tinier than that. Just putting it onto the movement holder is a is a task in itself. There you go. I don't think I've ever worked on anything as small and difficult as this, but that's the joy of watch making, right? And now let's actually try to remove the calendar wheel. Yeah. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna screw a couple of screws and see if we can get it out. There seems to be a bit of a plate here that is holding it somewhat difficult to. So I'm gonna remove that screw and see if we can get it out. So again, today I'm using my smallest screwdriver for pretty much every single screw. Putting it back is gonna be a nightmare, I can tell you that already. Definitely getting better at this, I can tell you that. Aha, I've got it. And I'm not gonna touch that because it looks like a lot of work, so I'm just gonna leave that together. That seems fine to me. I think it's all about the movement, so I'm just gonna focus on the movement for now, then we can come back to this, okay? So as you can see, let me show you this for a second. This is a beautiful wheel gate. See that we only removed 2 screws. Things came out. If we turn it around, you can see there's quite a few parts in here. This is to, I believe, to set up the day and the date. I'm not gonna mess around with this. I don't see the point of doing that right now because again, this is just an exploratory kind of research. So yeah, we're gonna leave it as it is. We're gonna put it back on the box and start it together with its screws, right? So again, a bit of a maybe a bit of exploratory research, trying to get that out of the way, putting them in there, and we keep moving. So I'm not gonna mess with the keyless works yet. I'm gonna turn this around and I'm gonna see what is going on the other side. I'm gonna try to remove the automatic wheel first, see if we can do that, and then move to the next thing. Okay, right, so let's now try to remove the automatic wheel holder, however you want to call it. So I think I need to remove a couple of things here. So the first thing I'm gonna have to remove is that one, and then the second one is gonna be that one. So let's see, let's go for that. Let's aim for it. Okay, so apologies, I'm doing my best to try to give you some visibility, but I also need to hold it tight, so it's kind of a complex problem. Hopefully you're getting to see a bit of that. There you go. There's one tiny screw. And then let's go for the other tiny screw over here. Right, so next to the wheel here. There we got it. Again, maybe I'm going to try a slightly bigger screwdriver. think this is a session that we're gonna achieve with just one screwdriver. Yeah, that seems to be working just fine. Right, so we've got it. I think we do. Yeah, it's a larger one, much larger. And now I believe we should be able to remove this whole thing out of the watch. There you go. Yeah, it's removable for sure. There you go. Remove the whole bit, and you can see at the heart of the watch now. That's the automatic wheel. Not gonna mess around with that. I'm gonna store it. The first one was a tiny screw, the second one was a bit bigger. This doesn't seem to be working perfectly fine, but I don't think that's the issue with this. So again, I'm gonna store this in my trustworthy screw box, as you can see over here. Storing things in separate places. I'm recording the whole thing, so if I forget what's what, then I can come back and have a look, right? This part I'm a bit puzzled by it, to be honest with you. I think part of the problem could be here, but the main question to me is, why is the heart of the watch not working? So once we can figure that one out, then the rest should be fairly simple, right? So where do we go from here? I'm not sure. So let me think about it. Oh, look at that. It kind of wants to work. Right, I'm not gonna mess up too much with it, but that seems like it wants to work. Okay. Right, so I have some piece of news. So while disassembling this, I just was watching some other videos trying to get a reference of what could be wrong, and it started working again. So I'm gonna guess that something was stuck, and by disassembling it, we got it back to work. I'm gonna put the stem and the crown, wind it a bit and see if it will keep working. But these movements are amazing, right? Omega movements are just next level stuff. So let's give it a bit of a wind up and see if it keeps running. If it does, I'm gonna try to put it back together. That's gonna be the next step of this, and give it back to my friend because it's now working. Of course, I'm well aware that this is not a service, that this is not a fix. This is a momentary fix. It's really more for my benefit than hers, because I'm the one who's getting to learn a bit about watchmaking while doing this, right? So that is indeed fantastic. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna try to press this button again. Hopefully you can see that. These are super tiny movements, so you have to be ultra extra careful. Adjust this a bit more. Yeah, stems back in. We're winding it up a bit. And it is running very well. Not perfect, but quite decently. I don't see any obvious issue. The good news is that I don't think that there's anything broken. Let's get a bit of a clean here. I'm gonna cover this up, and in a bit I'm gonna close it, and I'm gonna see if that's enough for this watch, and then try to put it back together and see if it's working. And that's gonna be us, guys. With a bit of luck, we managed to get this one working again. But yeah, definitely running again. Of course, this could use a clean. I don't have the means to do that right now, and thankfully it doesn't seem that we need it. So I'm gonna cover this up. I'm gonna take a bit of a break and then come back and try to put it back together and record it for you. Thank you.